So good morning, Ms. Casillas and Mr. Ito. Today we'll be presenting you my math and chemistry PoL. We'll begin with math, and the first thing I would like to show you is my homework completion chart. As you can see, it's fairly done, and I'm only missing one homework assignment that I did not do, but the other ones I did. Once I completed my homework assignments, I did check all of my answers to make sure I was understanding the content that was being taught to me. If I did have complications throughout doing the homework, I would ask for clarification. If I would ask you or friends for help, as well as my family. And I will now be moving on to my assignment score chart. My assignment score chart is done as well. I'm only missing 2 corrections, which would belong to quiz number 1 and quiz number 2. I did not do so well on. My corrections towards the end were done well, except for the test part 2 corrections, only because it's not within the grade yet. To help me study, I would use study groups as well as a tutor, as well as asking you for help, if anything, which is office hours. And I did go to office hours after test part 1 to help correct my quiz. That way I knew the content better for the test. The way I tried to improve my grade throughout the semester was going to office hours, doing study groups, and doing tutors. The way I would prepare for tests was doing your study guides, and I would do them multiple times. The lowest essential skill I will be presenting to you is Essential Skill 2, Learning Targets 2.3 and 2.4. The misunderstanding throughout these 2 learning targets was not being able to complete the problem due to not knowing all of the steps. So I will be comparing and contrasting my quiz to my test. So for quiz number 1, as you can see, I tried to do as much as I could, but wasn't able to complete the second part of the problem. So I was only able to complete the first. Throughout my corrections, I was able to redo the problem and finish it the full way. And throughout the process, I was trying to learn the content I wasn't understanding to be able to finish the equation that was given to me. As you can see on my test, I did learn the whole steps to find the sum of the product, and I was able to complete the full question on my test and get the answer correct. Part 2 of the math I will be presenting to you is my second quiz number 2, as well as the corrections. I had the same problem of not knowing the final steps to complete the problem that was given to me. On my corrections, I was able to ask for help and finish the problem that was given to me, as well as learning the steps throughout. And I also, on my quiz, you could see that I wouldn't annotate the problem that was given to me, but on the corrections, I learned how to do it and remain to use it. On my test, you could see that I was able to annotate my test once more, and I was able to finally complete the problem due to knowing how to finish the question. A grade that I think I deserve throughout the semester is probably the grade I have now, which is a C+ or a low B. I think I would deserve these grades because I did slack off in the beginning and started to care more towards the end, which is where I would start to ask for more help. My current grade is a C+, and I do think it's accurate because it shows my understanding throughout the class, as well as my slacking off and completing the correct steps. I will now be presenting chemistry. So I will be presenting to you on Unit 2A, Atomic Structure and Nuclear Chemistry. The first essential skill is 2A. Students will be able to explain how the nucleus of the atom is much smaller than the atom it contains most of the mass. So an atom is created by 4 main things, which is a proton and a neutron, which creates the nucleus, and then the electron. The nucleus is heavy because it holds the protons and protons and neutrons are the heaviest particles. The neutron is also 99% empty space, which is why it's the most dense out of the atom, and it also holds it together by having the nuclear strong force. Unit 2B, explain the experimental basis of Thomson's discovery of the electron, Rutherford's nuclear atom, and then we didn't learn the Millikan or the Einstein. So Thomson's discovery, he discovered the electron by using this cathode tube. So he put atoms in a vacuuming tube and shot electrical current through the vacuum tube, hitting the atom, and found the cathode. And while using the cathode, he shot it through the foil and noticed that tiny particles were coming out of both the cathode and the foil. He also shot it through positive and negative plates, and this is where he found out that the electron was negative because it attracted to the positive plates, which means opposites attract, and it didn't attract to the negative because the similar charges repel. Moving on to Rutherford's atom, he discovered the neutron by shooting alpha particles through gold foil. He noticed that 99% went through the foil, but 1% did not pass through it. This shows that it did not pass because it is the dense part of the foil, which is known as the neutron. Okay, so 2C, explain how protons and neutrons in the nucleus are held together by nuclear forces that overcome the electromagnetic repulse between the protons. Okay, for 2C, it holds the protons and neutrons together since the nucleus is small, and the particles have to be more compact, which makes them closer. And the only way it would work if the particles were close as they are, and it only works in the nucleus because of how tight they are together. Electronegativity shows that the differences attract more, so that's why they stay more compact together, rather than the same charge coming in together and repelling, so they'd be more spaced out. And then for 2D, explain how some natural occurring isotopes of elements are radioactive, as our isotopes formed in nuclear reactions. So an isotope is the same number of protons as another atom, but the different number of neutrons. And then for radioactive, it basically all depends on the atom's mass. And then if it's stable, then the radioactive will not be as much. If it's stable, it won't be as radioactive, as where the unstable ones are the most radioactive. And then for 2E, explain the three most common forms of radioactive decay, which would be alpha, beta, and gamma, and know how the nucleus changes in each type of decay. So alpha is stopped by paper, beta is stopped by aluminum, and gamma is stopped by lead. The equations for these is alpha 4/2, beta 0/-1, and gamma 0, 0. And that will conclude my presentation. Thank you.